Hello, welcome back to the ministry. This is part 9 of the Deja Vu review. Okay, where we are now is they're finally in the car. You and your God or day spouse together are in a vehicle. There is a vehicle that the two of you are meant to develop, operate together, or be in. But you have to make sure he's driving. And I saw this happen. Apostle Youngblood did a live on Periscope 4 or 5 years ago, and it was him and a couple other women that were talking, and he said something about a dream, and he said that when a man is driving the car, he's in the right position. So you have to be submissive in allowing your God-ordained spouse to lead you, because there are things that need to be taken care of that you're not going to understand. She's asking him the question of, why not just call the police? He said, I can't, because they're not going to get there in enough time. It's a level of authority that would be a thought that would be needed to be called, but because of his spiritual awareness, you have to trust that he knows what he's doing. You're like, oh, well, why not call? Why not go into prayer? Why not fast? Why not? He said, it's like saying, I know what I'm doing. He knows what he's doing. He knows why it has to be done the way that it needs to be done. And you have to submit to his authority in the areas, especially dealing with what he's dealing with. You have to trust he knows what he's doing in those areas. That's like for you to come in and you know that your God-day partner works in a specific industry. You understand the industry, but you can't tell him how to operate in that place. You can pray for him, you can cover him, you can give him advice. But if he's the one driving, you can't disrupt what he's doing, because he knows. Plus, he also knows how other men's minds work, because he's a man. So, he be able to understand, yeah, we don't got time for that. Now, the time, I wanted to go over that. The Strong's Concordance for time, which was 10:15. No, it was 10:08. I did 10:08 and 10:07. I'm sitting there looking at it, I don't know what it is. Okay, 10:08 means house of God, meaning this man has gotten instructions directly from the house of God, directly from God himself, from the temple, from the secret place. I'm being reminded of the scripture. You know that when the people go to the exalted place, which is like in heaven, where it's like the ordained location of the high place of God. There's a place in Roman Italy that has a series of steps that sit on a high place that lead up to a hill, or lead up a hill. And I'm thinking of that. That's like what your God-ordained spouse was. He's been in the high place, been in the secret place with the Lord. He understands the instructions that God has given him in order for him to operate, and in this timing and in this time frame, for what it is that he needs to get done. And Bozer, if I'm not mistaken, this means separation or division of wheat from tares. So, this is the separation point where God's taking out the tares from this whatever mess up. So you're seeing disastrous scenarios, but God's removing the tares from it. So next, So they get to the dock. So you are now back in the place in which you're supposed to be, right? And he gets there and he tells her, look, I'm going to go forward. You stay here. Let me explain something to y'all women. I said this in the word about chess pieces, and I also said this in my previous word about Now You See Me Kingdom Couple Edition. I said that one of the queen's roles is to protect the husband, but not all the time should you protect the king. So he tells her, I need for you, he gives her an exact instruction. Eve, I'm going to need for you to go to the police when I go in here and tell them about the bomb. She said, won't they arrest me? He said, no, they'll take you into protective custody and you'll be safe there. And she's like, what? He said, that's what I need for you to do. He pulls her close when he recognizes that the guy is coming back up the ramp. So he says, I'm going to go. You go. So when he goes in, she's standing there. She looks. She saw the guy. They saw the guy leaving off the ramp. And she's standing there looking. And when he goes in and gets onto the ferry, she was supposed to turn her behind around, go to the police, and tell them about the bomb. Instead, though, she waits and she sees something while she's standing there. The guy went down, got on his motorcycle, saw their vehicle, and was like, oh, no, I gotta go back now. So he went back to get on the ferry. And he got on just before the door closed. Let me express this. One, when your God ordained spouse gives you an instruction, he knows what he's doing. Do listen to him, Eve. What did Adam say? Adam told her, don't eat the apple off of the tree. Now, I don't know how much clearer he needed to make it for her so that they would not be cursed. But when your God ordained spouse gives you an instruction, listen, because he may be preventing a curse from befalling your heads. 2, your enemy is wise because your enemy watches and he sees when new angels have been dispatched on your behalf. And because these new angels have been dispatched on your behalf to cover you, he recognizes and he also knows what vehicle that you're riding in. So because he sees the vehicle, he's like, oh, they're here. I gotta go make sure that this happens because I don't want them to stop what I'm doing, right? It's because he doesn't want it stopped. He has to go back to cross the gate because he needs to make sure that you don't get across. Okay? So, meanwhile, he gets on the ferry. Doug is in the area where all of the vehicles are. The vehicles. This is where all of the ministries, all of the business, all of the kingdom business, all of the things, which is your vehicle. These are where this is where they reside in order to be safely transported into the new place that you're going to, right? This is where all of them are. And he's in that area. But that has security guards and or gatekeepers protecting it. So when he gets there, the security guard says, you ain't supposed to be down here. And he said, oh, I'm sorry, I'll go. So he knows it's not that easy to get in there. So she ends up seeing the killer. And Doug is at the observation deck, so he can see the Crescent City Bridge from across, and he don't see the guy up there yet. Because he's observing. He's like, I don't see nothing yet. So he gets suspicious. And you gotta think spouse has spiritual wisdom too. So he also has a level of discernment to know something right here. Something's not matching up or adding up. So he goes down and see if he can find another route to get in. So everyone on the boat is oblivious to all this stuff that is happening. Sometimes you be in the midst of one of your biggest warfares and don't nobody recognize your trauma, your hurt, the situation that you in, what's going on around you. They don't even see it because they don't understand what it is that you're going through at this time. You understand what I'm saying? So meanwhile, he's headed down to see if he can find the bump. And the killer, he comes on. So Satan is now in the area. Your Goliath is now in the area. David got to take out Goliath. Yes? So the killer kills a bunch of the sailors. So a bunch of innocent people just got knocked out. Think about the battle with Goliath. That Goliath was just taking people out for no reason and mocking them while he was doing it. Claire, who had gotten on the boat, she got grabbed. Now she done jumped on the boat. Look, now I'm gonna say this. This can go one of two ways. You can be disobedient to your spouse because you're using your discernment that the Lord is telling you, I need you to disobey that because he's going to need your help in a minute, because he thinks he knows what he's doing, because he's looking in the natural and you spiritually can see that this is going to be a problem. So in some cases, you paying attention to the instruction he gave you, you may have to avoid it, but that's only if God himself turns to spiritually set you up in such a way that says, hey, you need to be prepared for the fact that there's something going down, okay? And because something's going down, you're going to need my help. But because how can two walk together unless they agree? But when you work together in tandem, it can help one another. So she got back on the boat, but the killer ended up grabbing her again. Satan's still looking for you, sweetie. Satan's still looking in the spirit realm. He still wants to take you out. And because you're wise to his maneuvers, he knows that he got to shut you up again. So what does he end up doing? Not only does he tape her mouth shut and tape her to the steering wheel of the car, he puts it in the vehicle. It's going to blow up. For you. Satan is desiring to kill your ministry, destroy your business, and steal what God has given you. So how is he going to take your vehicle? He's going to put you in the vehicle and tape you, bind you up, and shut your mouth. So you are muted and cannot speak no more, thereby preventing your business from being able to move, your ministry from being able to gain traction, and you can't speak. But you're tied to the steering wheel. So in this moment you can't drive it, but you're behind the wheel. This is the moment when you're stuck and stagnant. Your hands is tied. But you're in the vehicle. You're using the vehicle. You're behind the wheel of the vehicle, but you can't go nowhere. But your God ordained spouse also recognizes that you're in the vehicle and you're bound again. So he comes to the window, taps on it, and gives her a signal. When I give you the signal, do what I say you do. So she's like, God ordained spouse knows how to get you out of this situation. So he goes up and he loads his gun and he remarks the very quote that he said to the guy, the bomber, during their interview. And which was, Satan thinks like a man, but God thinks of eternity. This is a recognition cue for the killer, because he's like, wait, that lets him know that this guy is intelligent and smart, and he's like, what did you just say? What did you just say to me? Doug takes the gun out, and he said, I'm coming out. He holds the gun up, saying, it's going to take a little divine intervention, buddy. I'm coming out. God is now in control of this situation. He's operating in a way that with one move, he can take this situation out. Your God ordained spouse knows that he's covered by God. The killer said, what did you say? Satan is attempting to take him out. Doug said, I thought you were a patriot. See, Satan still thinks he's one of them angels up there fighting the good fight. But he's statistically delusional and a murderer. And he said, I am willing to sacrifice. See, Satan caveat on sacrifice is to make sure that you sacrifice what you have, not him. Say, I'm not sacrificing my stuff, but I'll take everything that you own. And that's what Doug's point was. He was saying, who you trying to sacrifice? Me or her? You sacrificing her? You sacrificing me? You willing to sacrifice others but not yourself? Because Satan will go after everybody else. He will throw you into persecution. He'll put everything on you. Go back to Zechariah 3. Satan will put you before the court of God and accuse the brethren. But he won't look at none of his sins. People in glass houses should not throw stones. So, Doug says, sometimes human collateral is a cost of freedom, isn't it? He's pretty much making the point of saying, so Satan, you feel like you gotta take out humans because you mad because you can't go back to heaven. So that collateral to you seems justified to take out children of God. So as many people of God as you can take out, you feel justified because that evens the balance of the scales, right? Because it's the cost of freedom, isn't it? So who are you? It's like him asking, Satan, who you? Who are you? Who are you? So he looks at the ground. It's not supposed to be this way. That's what he says. And I need to pause here to say this. For some of you, this entity acting as Satan could be the ex, could be your ex, could be a family member, could be somebody that God is using. I mean, not God is using, the devil is using. Somebody that the devil is using, but God's allowing them to be used. Because remember, Job was tested by all of these people. And God allowed the test in order to see where his heart lied. These are individuals that are sent to test you. He will allow Pharaoh to get that close to you. He will allow the murderer to get almost to a point that he can take you out. He'll allow it just to prove his point that he's going to protect you regardless. So when Doug gives her the signal, you and your God-ordained spouse have to be spiritually inapt in understanding that, now you gotta go. Now's the time. Now's the move. Now. So when he gives her the signal, she guns the car because she turned the keys on the ignition. God's going to give you an instruction for your business, your thing, whatever it is. But it's something that your God-ordained spouse is going to do. That's going to help turn over the ignition for that vehicle in order for you to get where you need to go. In order for you to turn it on. And for you to move with expedient speed, which is going to take out the enemy. Because remember, Exodus 23, 30, 31 talks about when you go into the promised land, you're being sent in there to take out your enemies, right? And he's going to give you the ability to operate with an excess of speed. She ran directly into him. And when he turned the gun to try to shoot at her, she ducked. Your enemy is going to be taken out. For some of you, the judgment on your enemies is happening right now. I wasn't going to say this. This morning, my dad got a phone call and this person isn't an enemy, but I'm just pointing out the fact of how God judges. This individual that he got the call about passed away. 2 months ago, 2 wives of the family passed away. The month before that, one of the daughters passed away. When God decides to clean house, he's going to clean house. You just need to make sure that with judgment, you're on the right side of it. Because I've been seeing 11:14 over and over, which means you can no longer pray about this situation because he is no longer hearing your prayers. Whatever that is, and God wants you to pay attention. Whatever that is, whoever that is, and in whatever situation it is, he's not listening anymore. Because he's going to do what he needs to do. And what needs to be done is going to be taken care of. I don't know what person, place, situation, or scenario it is in relation to. But when God has spoken, he's going to bring forth the manifestation how he desires for it to come to pass. And you ain't going to be able to stop it. You ain't going to be able to hinder it. You ain't going to be able to move it. It is what it is. 2, 3, 4, 5. Exact order. And I saw 1, 2, 3, 4 before I started the last video, I think it was. Divine order. So when it comes down to it, the guy gets killed. But with him being killed, she drove the car right into him and ducked down. Doug shoots him point blank. So Goliath takes him out. He takes Goliath out. David takes Goliath out. When he gets in the car, he comes to take the tape off her mouth. Thereby, your voice is now again no longer muted and you've been released and set free again. But your arms are still bound. You can't put your hands to anything, but your voice is free. Me, in this season, my voice is free. But I'm still bound in some areas. For some of you, you're still bound in some areas. She's still tied to the steering wheel. And he looks back. You know how people look back when they're in a vehicle and they're about to go in reverse? He pulls the lever for the gear shift to go in reverse. And he said, I'm going to need you to press reverse. God is divinely reversing certain attacks in your life in this season. He's removing it, shifting it, transforming it in order for it to operate into your benefit in this season. But there are still authorities, gatekeepers in the area that are still security for this situation. Because when she put that car in reverse, she ran right in between all the security guards. There was 4 on one side, 4 on the other. The enemy is trying to surround you at this time because he knows that there's about to be a breakthrough. And he's trying to come at you. I'm hearing the scripture, they were on every side. But I'm also hearing revelations. That your enemies, that it's something about your enemies may be around you, but you won't be touched. I believe that's in Revelations 3. Hold on. That's going to bug me if I don't look it up right quick. Revelations. Because you have kept my word in passionate patience, I will keep you in this hour from trials that come on the whole world and test the inhabitants of the earth. So you may be surrounded by all of these things trying to come at you, your enemies and this and that, all of these things. You may be surrounded by that. But due to the fact that God is in the midst, due to the fact that God is protecting you, she's sitting in the vehicle, hands fully bound, on the steering wheel. The only thing she has to tell her is her God ordained spouse, or the God ordained spouse. He said, what are you going to do? You have to make a decision. You are going to have to make a decision to trust your God ordained spouse in this moment. Because there's going to come some sticky situations that you and your God ordained spouse are going to be in. And when you look at him, and he says do something, you better do it. Because if your spirit might say, I don't know if I should, we surrounded here, God, what are we doing? Because God has put you in there with them vipers and them snakes. And the only person that you can look to trust is your God ordained spouse. Who else you going to trust? And it's 10:48, meaning they got 2 minutes till that bomb go off. So the radio starts 10:48. 10:48, the scripture means Mark 10:48. Well, 10:48, the number means exalted Father. So this is actually your God ordained spouse's moment to be exalted. But in this moment, he's representing Jesus. And I'm going to show you how he's representing Jesus. Mark 10:48. And many charged him that he should hold his peace and be silent and not call him the son of David, at least nor ask him a thing, but he cried the more and great deal. He lifted up his voice aloud and repeated the same words quicker and more often, greater vehemency and importunity. I don't know what that is. Oh, baptized in tongues. Your God ordained spouse is going to get baptized in the Spirit, because it means to be baptized. 1048 means to be baptized. Oh, if your God ordained spouse don't have tongues, he's going to get them. He's going to learn his prayer language, and he is going to intensify his walk with God. And this confirmation was yesterday. I saw a video entitled Prophetic Word Confirmation that you need to be baptized, or baptizing. He's going to be baptized. Now that he may get baptized in the Spirit first, but he may need to also be baptized in the natural. And I've been thinking about the fact that I want me and my husband to go to Israel and be baptized, because my pastor, when I was in New York, he took everybody to Israel several times over, and I was like, man, I would love to do that. And for us both to be baptized together in Israel? Come on now. Only a child of God wants that. So she said, we're going to die? He said, no, we're not. The announcer on the radio said the radio station was 10.5.3. 1053 means sun temple. Didn't I just say that he had to go to the exalted place, the place that God was in, and the secret place for him? But catch this. This is the scripture for 105.53. Glory in his holy name, and let the heart of those who seek the Lord rejoice. There's going to be a level of rejoicing, but there needs to be a sacrifice. Your God ordained spouse has to sacrifice yet again. And I'm hearing the scripture. Let me see if I can get it. Mark 16:25. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it. For whoever is willing to lose his life shall find it. Remember, he had to die in the spirit, meaning he had to spiritually die, and then in order for him to naturally. But here, catch this. I'm going to have to come back.